Okay, welcome back to Wargroove, here with Act 3, Mission 3, High Vampire of the West.
Hey!
So, the main goal of this mission is to bring Mercia all the way over here to this red flag here. And that's the goal of the mission, that's what we need to do to win. But we have to go through all these enemies as well as trebuchet emplacements with a land army on one side. But on the other side, we have control of Nuru, and she can get air units. So these are going to be the key to actually defeating this mission. Okay, and another thing to note is the main plan is to bring Nuru all the way down to capture this barracks, gain control of this southern area where the enemies will spawn, and get wagons to ferry Mercia from around this area all the way here. Okay, so our first things in order to accomplish this goal is by sending one harpy all the way west to destroy this trebuchet, sending this harpy all the way down to help with combat in this area, and we're gonna build another harpy in order to come in this area, fight the archer, and eventually destroy this trebuchet. We're gonna move Nuru down, and she's gonna capture all of these buildings.
I think I'll take this.
Meanwhile, Mercia's force is going to advance, but for now we're just gonna get in range to move towards their archers and pikemen. Okay, Sigurd's first turn is it's gonna be pretty simple. They're gonna always move in this position. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna move Mercia forward. Mercia is not really gonna care about most of the damage she takes from either the spearman or the archer. In fact, it's very likely the spearmen are actually gonna run away instead of continuing to fight. So we're gonna move the mages forward. We're gonna keep the dogs in reserve. The knight is also gonna be in reserve. We're basically gonna let them come to us before we counterattack and break them. This harpy is gonna continue its journey to destroy this trebuchet. This one's gonna continue its journey southward in order to help. Nuru's gonna capture this village.
I think I'll take this.
This one is going to come down and get into position. And we're going to save our money because next turn we're going to get ourselves a swooper. That's going to be very helpful in destroying the harpies that Sigurd's going to eventually send to us from this area. And with that, we're going to end turn. Mercia gets attacked by the archer crit, as well as the pikeman. Again, do remember there is going to be some variations, and sometimes they might actually choose to not fight you. Okay, we're going to bring in the dog in order to attack. They've wiped out the pikeman. The knight's going to move forward and almost wipe out these archers. Mercy is going to come in and attack the spearman.
I won't fail.
And the mages are going to follow behind as well as the dog. And now, for Nuru's side, we're going to go in for the attack on the trebuchet. Okay. So these leaf wings in particular are going to actually have multiple purposes. So once they destroy this, they're also going to come down and they're going to basically shadow Mercia's force from the air units that are going to be coming in. Between the mages and the leaf wing, they're going to basically be zoned out until the swooper that we build right now
Yeah.
reaches them. Okay. While this one is going to come to the side and it's going to start fighting this archer. This one is going to come down and is going to move into this position in order to threaten the archer that spawns there. Nuru is going to come down, and with that, that's going to be our turn.
How
So more of Sigurd's reinforcements are going to come in. The Spearman is going to go in for attack on Mercia, but it's not going to do much. Okay, so Mercia is going to go in, and she's going to finish off this archer.
I won't hold back.
The knights are going to go forward, and they're going to basically they're just going to bum rush because the only thing they have here is a mage and 2 swordsmen. Meanwhile, this leafwing is going to come to this mountain and finish off the trebuchet. Okay, the mages advance. The dogs are also going to advance. Meanwhile, on this side, we're going to move Leafwing into this mountain. And on this side, one space away, but we're going to stay out of range of the archer until we're going to come in and wipe them out with the Leafwing. Nuru's going to capture the barracks.
I think I'll take this.
Be sure you capture it from the west side, so that way she can instantly move and capture this village. Our first swooper is going to come in, and in fact we're going to build a second one. Yes, they've decided to capture the village with their spears. But at this bottom area, the enemy has made a blunder by putting their archer in a forest right next to a mountain, which is pretty much going to negate its defense by using the Harpy's crit. We are going to take some damage in return, though. Okay. Now for here, we're going to move the Harpy forward. And we're going to bring in the swooper. Both the swoopers. And we're also going to build another leaf wing to try and help clear out these spearmen. Knights go forward. Mercia goes forward. We're not going to send the mage forward because they're actually going to be... Actually, then again, I think we should, because the swordsmen are going to come in. They're going to take some damage. Mercia is going to move in and use a healing aura. So yes, I don't think that move is as bad as I originally thought. The dog is going to move across the mountain. This dog is going to move also across the mountain next turn. Originally, I was wanting to use this leaf wing to try and shadow Mercia's force, but the swoopers are very close. Like, they're gonna immediately dart across the bridge and move to support them. So I believe we need to be focusing on clearing Mercia's next roadblocks, which are gonna be these pikemen. So we're gonna move back, and they're gonna try and fight these spearmen. Meanwhile, Nuru's side, she's gonna capture this.
I think I'll take this.
And I believe it's probably gonna be for the best that we save what little money we have left, because we only have 100 gold. So with that, we're gonna end turn. As expected, the swordsmen go in for an attack on our mages. Gonna take damage in return. The archers move to be annoying towards the leaf wing. And these swordsmen decide to go in for an attack on the knight. Not a very smart idea. Okay. So, we're going to move this leaf wing here to finish off these archers and stay out of range of the warlock they just spawned. Now, we're gonna send Nuru down. She's most likely gonna decapture this village if the spearman decides to capture it. And now we're gonna build ourselves a knight to come down and support Nuru's advance. On this side, the archer is going to be attacked by our leaf wing. And the swooper is going to come in and try to minimize the amount of airspace the enemy can come in from. And we're going to start dealing damage towards the spearmans. Marcia herself is going to come in with the healing aura.
I'll save you all. Healing aura!
The knights are going to charge forward. The dogs are going to move forward. This mage is going to wipe out this swordsman. These dogs are going to come across and they're going to fight these swordsmen. And these mages are going to advance. And with that, we're going to end our turn. The mage decides to stop and go into the mountain to critically strike our knights, but they're going to take some damage in return. The archer decides to attack the harpy. They're going for a capture on the village. Okay, now both of our early swoopers up, we're pretty much going to shut down the entire airspace of the enemy forces. In fact, some of them may even decide to go for an attack on our swoopers and wipe themselves out, saving us the turn. Mercy is going to advance forward. This mage is actually going to and we're going to move everyone forward first. And we're going to use the dog in order to attack the mage. They're going to take some damage in return, but that's fine. So these mages are going to move forward. This mage is going to occupy his space and then throw down a heal here. We're going to use this harpy in order to strike east of these spearmen, weakening them. And now the knight's critical hit was going to come in, and it has a chance of wiping out, but there's a chance that it might not. Thankfully it does, and because we have the harpy in position here, it's going to block this weakened pikeman. So we're going to move this leaf wing down. And so they're basically going to try and help cover and allow Mercia's force to move forward. Meanwhile, as annoying as it is, I believe it's going to be time to start working on this trebuchet because Mercia's army is coming in fast, but I believe it's going to be Yeah, we need to start working on this. We're gonna attack the trebuchet. Okay. While Nuru is gonna come down and fight on the road and decapture this village Sigurd's just captured. And we're gonna retreat our leaf wing to a position that this warlock can't reach. So, by this northern village here. We're gonna build ourselves another knight to try and help us clear this area. Because I believe that either the mage or the pikemen are gonna come in for our attack on Nuru, and Nuru is being covered by the knight, so they're gonna be destroyed in a counterattack. And with that, we're gonna end our turn. The mage decides to go in for the attack.
This is my fight.
Fortunately, this mage that survived decided to go in for an attack on our swooper. This archer is going to continuously pester and prod at us. Mercy is gonna continue moving forward. So both of these still have the ability to kill without taking very little in return. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move this leaf wing down in order to attack. This leaf wing is also going to move down in order to finish off these spearmen. These knights are going to move into this position. These mages are going to move at the very edge of the archer's range, so they can't be targeted. This mage is going to come down and they're going to attack this mage. Mercy is gonna continuously run forward, and the dogs are gonna try and move for this southern path so that way they can just cut across the river. While on this side we're going to use the swoopers to intercept and destroy the harpies as we originally planned. And while this one won't be quite a kill, it's still going to weaken it to the point where it can't fight back at all. Yeah, very little in return. Okay, so now we're bringing in these leaf wings. Time isn't as urgent or as important, so we're going to actually finish off these archers, so that way they stop dealing minor amounts of damage to us. While on this side, the Harpy critical strike on the mountain. They come in and deal damage, in combination with Nuru doing a strike on them.
Here I come. Ow!
Next up is going to be the critical strike on this mage, though it really didn't need it in order to be annihilated. The next knight's going to move forward, and then we're going to start getting our wagons, because Mercia is nearly halfway there. So we really want the wagons to be, we want multiple wagons to basically pick her up, ferry her, immediately move into her max space into another wagon, so that way she can get ferried to this base in the quickest amount of time possible. So with that, we're going to intern. The Harpy decides to be annoying and go in for an attack on one of the dogs. Spearman goes in for an attack on Nuru. It's going to do minor amount of damage. Okay. So, this knight's gonna come in and finish off the trebuchet with a critical strike. While two of these leaf wings are gonna finish off, or at least extremely weaken, these pikemen. Well, the swooper is gonna... Yeah, the swooper is actually gonna come down... Actually, I believe... Yeah, it's unfortunate. The knight's stopping us from being able to give a heal. So with that, these mages are also gonna move down. Mercy is gonna advance her fullest. This mage is going to... these leaflings first are gonna come in for an attack. These mages are going to move down. They're going to probably counterattack later. These dogs are going to run across the river as planned. These swoopers are going to come down. They're going to intercept these harpies. They're going to deal some damage in return because they're starting to suffer from attrition. That's fine. These ones are going to come down. Just make sure they're not in range of the ballista. They're going to try and intercept these vampires. Okay. So now... we have ourselves another archer coming in. It's fine. So we're going to use our harpies in order to weaken these spears. Nuru is going to stand in this mountain, and actually no, Nuru should move back and capture, because having that little bit of extra money can actually help now that she has her groove. Yes, these knights are gonna come in and finish off this spearman. Gotta move these leaflings down, but make sure they stay out of range of the enemy vampire. This knight's gonna come down. We're actually gonna use this, move this wagon down. Build another wagon, and we're gonna build ourselves another swooper. The mage comes in for an attack on Mercia. That was to be expected, but she's gonna counterattack and weaken them to the point of just being a nuisance. These vampires are gonna continuously be a nuisance against our dogs. That's fine. The archer comes in for an attack. There's not really a lot they're gonna do. The knight's continuously stalking Mercia. Okay, so now we see the enemy has pulled out one of their flyers. Okay, so this vampire is moved into range of our leafwing, doing a critical strike, so that's actually going to give us the leg up in this area. So we're going to move the knight down, but not in ballista range and not in mountain crit range. So we're basically just gonna stay around and basically try and block their witch from moving forward and threatening our airspace. So we're just gonna sort of back away with this weakened one to try and deal with some of these nuisances. These leaflings are gonna move south. Mercy is gonna move forward and she's gonna finish off these spearmen. And I believe next turn she can throw a healing aura on herself. These mages are gonna move across the river. These dogs are gonna stand in the forest. These leaflings are gonna come down to the south. So we actually have several things we're gonna do this turn. So first off, we're going to see what we can get from Nuru. We can get a shaman here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is perfect. So we're gonna move these knights down to critically strike here. We gotta completely crush that one spearman. And now, in order to block and prevent them from being counterattacked, we're gonna use our leaf wing in order to weaken the dread spear. And now we're going to use this Knight Crate in order to annihilate this Trebuchet. Nuru's going to come down, use her teleport beam to get a mage.
Calling reinforcements.
And now he's going to come down and he's going to completely, well, almost completely annihilate these dread bows. Gotta take some damage, but they're pretty much weak to a point they can't do anything. This wagon is gonna continuously move forward to go pick up Mercia. Here they're gonna wait. These swoopers are gonna come in. They're gonna shadow the airspace. And with that, we're gonna end turn. Yes, unfortunately, these knights are going to be bullied by the vampire. As this one vampire is still continuing to harass our dog units. The mage actually decides to come in. Yeah, and finish themselves fighting Mercia. These archers continue to be a nuisance for the mage. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna retreat out of range of both the ballista and the witch. So the best area to do that would be moving here on this road. Okay. While these mages are gonna come down towards this area, they're gonna run across the mountain. So the dogs are finally gonna move across the river. Okay, we're gonna move this witch in range of Mercia's healing aura, because healing aura does transcend allies. They do transcend allies, so they work on any side that's on it. The mages are gonna go. The dogs are gonna go. Mercy is gonna heal them all up.
I'll save you all. Healing aura.
These swoopers are gonna come down. This wagon is gonna come 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So above So above here, yeah, it's gonna be in range of the ballista, but that's fine. So now this is gonna pick up Mercia, and we're gonna basically ferry it. Okay. Meanwhile, here they've spawned a mage in range of our knights. That's gonna fall. The Leaf Wing is going to come in and attack these spearmen. Nuru's going to finish them off.
I can't wait!
And the knights are going to finish the archers off. So as long as we keep this southern path clear, the rest of the mission should be a cakewalk. So we're going to move these knights. Yeah, we're going to move these knights here, because heals from mages also transcend unit type, like player type. So it heals the Florin and the Cherry Stone. So we're going to put this Leaf Wing in this Mun in order to finally finish off these vampires that have been harassing us. We're just going to continuously move this wagon close, because the wagons have such high movement range, you don't really need to calculate them as much, just the initial commander. These ones are going to move to the east of this forest. And we're basically just gonna put this one here. And we're gonna build ourselves another wagon, because we've won this southern side and now we can keep them locked down. Now it's time for us to actually just focus on evacuating Mercia and not taking any losses doing it. Gonna intern. Yes, unfortunately our wagon does get attacked by the one ballista, but he's gonna survive. Dogs are still gonna be harassed by this one vampire. Okay, so on the southern side, we're just gonna continuously ambush every unit that spawns in this southern side so they can't bother us. Nuru's gonna have the honors of finishing it off.
I can't wait!
Okay. Mercy is gonna come down and she's gonna move towards this wagon.
Yeah!
Okay. And now she's gonna come down. And always make sure drop Mercia off so that way she can walk 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and then jump into another wagon. So that way she can continue the cycle and get much further than just continuously moving the one wagon. So we're gonna retreat with this, with this harpy. We're gonna put the shaman in the forest. These mages are gonna come across and they're gonna stand in this forest, as well as here. We're gonna replace these leaf wings. Yeah, we're gonna retreat with these leaf wings because we don't want them being targeted down by the wraith. So instead we're gonna remove these knights, and we're gonna put in these mountains these witches, and we're gonna stack them together, try and get as much coverage as possible. Here the rest of our forces are gonna retreat. And we're in fact gonna put this swooper here in order to limit the progress of the knights, because they can't advance past us and we're out of range of the archer. Now with that, we're actually going to save money because we have the 3 wagons that we need to actually quickly ferry Mercia across. So we're going to save our money just in case Nuru gets her groove, and we can immediately summon something to try and get another kill and prevent them from advancing further. So we're gonna intern. Yes, this is a common thing that happens. They move forward and they hex you, but that's ultimately fine because they're just gonna be doing one damage. And if you're following my instruction, none of your troops should be anywhere near close to having that kill them. So Mercy is gonna move forward in this wagon, and she's gonna be dropped off here. And now next turn she's gonna stand in this wagon, get in this wagon, and it's gonna drop her off on the objective. So we've effectively already won this. We just need to be careful that none of our units die in the 11th hour. So in order to prevent that, we're gonna move in with both of our witches. Just make sure they're not in range of the ballista. These vampires are gone. These vampires are gone. We're gonna move these cherry stone mages down. They're gonna finish off this wraith. These dogs are gonna retreat. These are gonna retreat to the beach. These are gonna retreat to the forest. And yes, these supers are gonna retreat here. I mean, ultimately, there's no real point in doing anything else. I'm just gonna build another swooper there. And with that, we're gonna end turn. There's nothing else the enemy can do. We've won. And we've defeated this level before Sigrid herself even shows up. So we're gonna use Nuru to finish off this archer.
This is my fight.
No real point, but you know, we've won. We've weakened them. Okay, now Mercia stands here. See, is there anything else we can do? We're going to destroy this vampire. And that's about all the real destruction we can cause them. So now, Mercia stands. The final objective, and with that we win. Yep, so again, 14 turns. You might be able to do a bit quicker or maybe a bit slower. Again, some of this is kind of depends on how the enemy moves and you know what you prioritize, whether you prioritize the land war with Nuru or the air war with Nuru in order to defend Mercia. Well, ultimately this is pretty easy. Again, this is one of my favorite missions in the game. And you shouldn't really have that much problem with it so long as you're covering Mercia, you're making sure you're using the wagons maximum movement to their advantage, and you lock down the south side. So with that, I'm gonna leave this time and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.